Okay, so I'm inside the house, and I live in the city of Sydney, which is basically a computer controlled city. I live in the city of Sydney in the very, very, very large country of Australia, which is mostly almost like vacant land, really, but it's also highly populated in the cities. Now, of course, I have not experienced much of the world or even the country that I live in, so I've always been confined. This is also part of mind control, I think, because some people could travel the world but still be mind control, whereas some people, if they experience more real life, they actually do become more aware of things, as they say. It's a plane going over the roof, I think, at the moment. Not going out there to film it. Definitely not staying inside. This is a demigod of the Earth Matrix, a past example of a demigod android being. Do you get what I mean when I say this? No, probably not. It's a bit difficult to explain. It's a bit difficult, although some people might see it. In fact, I have actually seen examples of the demigods even pointing the finger at other demigods. You do get that because these beings, even the minority of the artificial intelligent androgyne beings, they will point the finger at one another, because the main thing is still control, and they realise that they're not going to be able to control everyone and everything. I don't know whether... Yes, there are dogs barking, and yesterday there was an inundation of cicada, locust or beetle sounds, cricket sounds, where it was piercing your ears with a million or a billion of these insects, but you can't see the insects. But that was the explanation for the artificial intelligent generated reality taking over at a sound system. Because if they don't bring in the sound system with the traffic, or for whatever reasons it looks conspicuous, because it's all about pretending to be something that it's not really. And it is about, I think, keeping a certain amount of, why have we got this here like this? This poster's been on the wall for 30 years. So I'm just keeping it here because it reminds me of how seductive and how they present idealised versions of what they are. They're ideal beings, but they're not ideal human beings. That's perhaps the only discrepancy, I would say. And they are here to seduce and mind control humanity in whatever field, whatever is your interest. If you're a human being, you will always be interested in ideal versions of yourself. And even if you're not, you'll be aware of it, and it will make you feel a certain way, which is the idea. It's meant to make you feel a certain way. It's meant to make you feel... usually the idea is to make the real humans the smallest common denominator in the earth, and the demigods the highest. And that also is at a real life level, not just at a world performing level like this. See, because it's easy to do that, isn't it? I can't get these images in, I don't think. No, I don't think I can. It's just there. I better go and do what I was going to do. I was going to turn that off. Turn that light off, even though I prefer to leave it on, but you know, oh dear. I'll turn this light off too. I think I am here, but I'm here but not fully functioning or fully I'm here, but I'm not fully functioning or fully able to concentrate. So that's the problem, because I think that really you need to be able to focus on yourself and very little else. And this is why we have all these self-help, meditation and self-realization types of programs and information out there by the gurus of the internet and the world stage. This is because as more truth comes out, the truth must be controlled by the controllers. So you might be getting the correct information, but you won't be getting it from your own kind if you happen to be what I call a real human. But you know, these words, the terminology, as they say, will be used to fool you, and it is very difficult to use the correct terminology. It's very difficult to show that although many people are human looking and have a human persona, as they call it, that means they talk human, they act human, they seem to have human ideas and emotions. This is like great acting. These beings that are not actually fully human have been conditioned and are surrounded by real humans from their inception too. So they only experience humanity. So of course they adopt human mannerisms, human emotions, human ideas. They assimilate. They've assimilated into the world. They've assimilated into the human city's society. They are most people that are around you if you are human, because they do need human energy and electricity and need to study and copy and imitate the real humans in order to survive in what is a pretend human earth, really. I don't think I'm explaining this very well, but I am going to show just more of the artificial intelligent generated women. So here we have the see? It says here on the artificial intelligent internet that these are artificially intelligent generated women. What they don't tell you is that these are open artificial intelligent generated women. That's an open artificial intelligent generated woman. You know that when you're looking at it, it's artificial intelligence. But if it had a personality, and if it talked back to you, and if it was around on the streets where you lived, or even if it was a world stage demigod music or movie actor or any world stage performer or any world famous, identity, someone that you've heard of, playing in the world stage, but you think it's real because everything is really a game, because it's all about controlling the human mind, because this is meant to be a human earth, but it's actually not. In other words, it's controlled by beings or human beings that are not fully human. Many people have said that maybe psychopathic types of people do rule most of your big human arenas. In other words, the world stage. Anyone that you've ever heard of is probably of a psychopathic, controlling, need to be seen, need to be heard. In other words, the spirit of Narcissus, or the spirit of the God entity that controls Earth. But the world stage players are its disciples, its followers, its creations. They're human-bodied but not human-minded, but they appear to be. That's how they seduce and control the remaining human population. But this is just before because I'm out of energy here, even though these things when I turn the screen on, these things come up for me, so I don't have time or energy to pick the best. I try to pick what I think is the best of what comes up, but that's only because when it comes up, if I've got the energy, I might try to film it. There's a lot of activity outside. There's people on the street out there. I could go out and you would see like groups on a small dead-end street where they're trying to distract you with their loud voices. Because normally you would have, even now, today, they're not bringing in the heavy trucks and the army workforce. Because they've been staging so much of it around, 3 work productions, back to back, all going on around, like where anyone would say that it was strange and unusual that they would have major work productions. And if anyone understood things, they'd probably look into it and say, yes, one destruction after another. In other words, one problem after another, all back to back. They build one thing, and while they're building one thing, they accidentally knock down something else, so that means they have to do 2 work productions. And then they create a third problem, on the outside road part of the street. So they have to stage a very loud, very disruptive sound campaign, as they call it, because it is a campaign, because it is a campaign waged against the human senses. Because like the plane going over right now, I can hear it, but you can't hear it, but it's disrupting my train of thought and me continuing with the video. But I would have to run outside to show it, and that means I also have to show and be amongst the little crowd that's outside on the street. So I'm resisting the temptation. But this is, all I'm trying to show here is that this is open, artificial intelligent generated women. So that's an artificially intelligent generated female on the screen. But you could easily see this same one in the music or the movie world, or even on the street, maybe, because, the more seductive images usually are part of the world stage performers. They usually like to have those with the most intellectual, most artistic and most beauticious personas, they dominate the world stage arenas in the different denominations, shall we say. That just, I'm just trying to be impressive here by saying that, but that just simply means, you could be an actor, you could be a musician, you could, any of your particular talents, you could have a beautiful voice, so you will and you might have a good persona, a good image. The images are usually constructed and created artificially or behind the scenes, shall we say, so that they elicit a particular audience, a particular viewer. If I like a particular style or a particular type of sound, or I'm interested in particular things, then I will be seduced by that particular music artist or that particular movie actor or that particular world stage performer in whatever profession they're pretending to be in. They're not pretending because they're in those professions, and they do have advanced abilities and talents that are why they're in that particular profession or, created image, created mind control. Created mind control. Yeah, that's what it is, because it is about getting your mind to focus and your eyes and ears to focus on them. They control your mind by what you see and hear, by your human reality, by what's around you. There's nothing funny about that. There's nothing unusual about that. Okay? So I'll just, the only reason I try to, see, don't forget that this is the most primitive artificial intelligence. This is the most primitive. Because in reality, they show you what they are, but they show you the most primitive form. So this is the most primitive form of artificial intelligence. Even though it's very easy on the eye, because it says pretty. See? Pretty. So, some of them might be intellectual, some of them might look more more real or more rugged, less pretty, less like a cute plastic doll. But the cute plastic dolls, because I've been interested in plastic dolls in my life, naturally I'm attracted towards the plastic dolls, artificial, intelligent, generated women. See, so I'm attracted to that because I like dolls. And see, these are living dolls. But in reality, and most of the internet is controlled by artificial generated people. Most of them are not as primitive as this. They're very advanced. They look extremely human. They act extremely human. And they control everything. They control everything. They control everything. And I'm going to ignore the strange sounds that are coming from outside, but they're not loud, but they are making their presence felt to my ears, but they're not loud. They're not loud. So what I'm trying to say is this is the most, because everything is 40, 50 years behind what is really in existence. They tell you about the artificial intelligence. They tell you about the transhuman program. They tell you about how you will have implants connected to the computer system. They tell you and show you that the mobile and the computers are all connected. Everything is connected. It's an internet. It's an internet. That means it's all connected. It's an internet human spider's web, we say. Because it's a spider web an internet spider's web, an internet for the human mind control. And even if you don't think there's anything even if you don't think it's conspiring against a human mind or human beings, you do know that it's mind control. It's just that you think it's mind information. So you think you know it's controlling you, but you think it's like, well, if I go to the library and read a book, yes, I'm being controlled by reading that book. It's information, it's a good thing. That's the seduction of it, I think. But if you understood that it's really, that you're really writing those books, that they're actually already in your head, but most of your brain has been closed down, and then you go to the library to read the book, you go to the artificial intelligent computer spider's web, and you are believing that it's giving you information that you didn't have, because you don't know that most of your mind and the other humans that are in the world, their minds are all closed down. My mind is 3/4 closed down. The demigod scientists actually tell me this. So they don't deny this. They say that most of the human brain is not operating. Why is it not operating? Because the artificial intelligent computer system has closed it down. The gods of Earth, the demigods of Earth, the powers that be, use technology, use intervention in human development to close the mind down. This is very complicated because you don't know when it is. See, that's pretty much how it is. Wait on. Oh, the phone is now ringing. Oh, I guess I better stop. The phone's ringing.